Hi, welcome back. Episode 2. We're going at it. It's been 2 weeks and I am ready to show you a little bit more of what I've finished and what I'm working on. I'm not going to show any of my designs right now. I do have a few, but yeah, we'll give it a go. My name is Shannon. I am Just Living Designs here on YouTube and on Ravelry. I'm Just Living, and you can find my designs. I'll link my Ravelry page below. You can find my designs there under Just Living Designs or under Shannon Larson. Then you can find me on Instagram as Just Living Designs as well. I'm coming to you from Billings, Montana. It is a gloomy day. It is almost 11:30 about on Wednesday, October 4th? Yep, Wednesday, October 4th. And yesterday we had a lot of rain. It was cold and chilly. Today it's supposed to get warmer, but so far it doesn't feel warm. So I'm in woolly season. Makes me happy. All right, we'll get right into it. So I'll start with what I'm wearing. This is actually one of my oldest cardigans that I still wear. I've had to repair it a few times because I just love it so much. This is the Adez by Cyrilla Rose, and it was designed for Barocco. I'm not even sure how long ago. I knit it about 10 years ago. I knit it in 2013, and I used Cascade Yarns Ecological Wool in the color Natural Gray. I think it took about 2 hanks. That's it. This is a size 36, which now I'm larger than I was 10 years ago. Not a lot larger, but I am a little bit larger. But it's an open cardigan. There's no buttons, and it has cabling down the sleeve, the fronts, and then it has quite a nice running cable down the back. I modified this because I believe it is knit in pieces, and I think it's knit bottom up. I can't remember, but I did modify it to knit it not in pieces, and then joined, I did my own raglan shaping, so it's a little bit wider. This is way before I really knew what I was doing when it came to designing things. And so I was just like, oh, I don't want to knit it in pieces and seam it. So I figured out how to do it my own way. But yeah, I would totally, when this one finally dies all the way, because I've had to, fix a couple holes in like the sleeves, where since it's wool, I just kind of like needle felted it and like tied the ends in and needle felted them so they wouldn't fray open anymore. But it's not like moth damage or anything. It's just, we don't really have the moth-eating moths here in Montana because our climate's not good for them. But yeah, so it's just an old sweater and I love it. I will probably eventually have to retire this one. And if I do, like I said, it's one of my favorites. It's really long. I don't know if you can see, like my hips are way up here. So it's very long, covers my bottom. And it's just a very cozy, warm. It was knit on, size, I don't know, probably 10.5 needles, something like that. So I don't know, it's a lovely cardigan, and it's a free pattern. I don't know if I mentioned that. There's not a lot of sizes, not size inclusive. Like I said, it's an old pattern. I knit it almost 10 years ago. The size inclusive thing started to become more of a traditional way of sizing more recently. But yeah, you can always add stitches because the panel's really, that's where you're adding your stitches, is on the stockinette. So you can always make it bigger. All right. I think that's it for wearing. Of course, I'm wearing hand knit socks. I always do. I don't know if I can really show you my feet, so I'm not going to try, but I'm wearing a pair of my socks, my designs. They're shorty ones right now. This is the Uptown Funk pattern. Actually, I could get, so it has this fun little funky stripy detail and a wide rib. And they're just little shorty socks because it's supposed to warm up and I'm wearing leggings, and sometimes I like to wear shorty socks with my tennis shoes and leggings. All right, so I think that's all for what I'm wearing. Like I said, coming back after 2 weeks, I have actually finished a lot of things. There's some things I only think I finished one project that I showed you last time out of the 4 that I was working on. I finished an old whip that I didn't show you, and then I have finished 2 new things that I didn't show you last time. And let's see, let me see if I can find my old, I'll do that old whip first. It was a pillow that is called On the Bias Pillow, throw pillow actually, On the Bias throw pillow. And it is by Two of Wands. And you can get the free version on her website, or you can pay for the added version, and it's with her yarn through Lion Brand, Hue and Me. I used, let's see, what colors did I use? I used mustard, and then the white is salt, and then the red is saffron. And it's just a garter stitch pillow. You knit 2 squares essentially and sew together and put in a pillow form and sew the rest of it. And then it's supposed to have tassels. I'm not really a tassel person, but I have a couch that actually, if you can tell, we did paint our bedroom since the last time. I've been wanting to, we've been in this house for like 8 years now, which is ridiculous. We finally painted our bedroom. Our couch, a new couch that I got last year, downstairs matches, it's very similar to this color. I love this like deep gray blue. And I thought these pillows would go really well on that couch. I needed new couch pillows, so I was like, I'll make them. So I have one done. I started it back in June, maybe? When did I start this? I have my little cheater notebook, like I said, I was going to show you. I started this, back in June. So it was sometime after we got that couch, I started it. And then I did 1 square, and then I just put it down. And it was like, all I needed to do was knit the other square and put it together. And I was like, I don't know why, but now I just need to knit the second one. I bought enough yarn initially to make it, because it uses almost a whole skein of that Hue and Me for the solid color. And then it's, about 50% of the skein for the stripes. And like I said, it's the same on the front and the back. So I'm going to knit it the exact same way, not changing up the color sequence at all. And if I want to add tassels later, I can. But right now, I just want the pillows. And it's nice. And I just bought my pillow forms from Joann's, and that's where you can find Hue and Me. You can find it on Lion Brand as well, but that's where I bought it, was my local Joann's store. All right. Let's see. Other finished objects. So this is the one that I showed you last time. This is the Black Flame candle socks for my son that I knit toe up with my pattern Shadow Wrap Heels 2 ways. And this one I added a 3x1 rib to the foot and the leg, and then it's a 1x1 cuff. Like I said, this pattern is called for both toe up and top down, 9 sizes. This I knit the second size for his feet. He's got skinny little legs. He's, eventually he'll get bigger when he grows up a bit. And this, like I said, so these are on blockers, the Katrinkles blockers that you can adjust. That's the one I use for his size, because his feet aren't quite as big yet as the medium size blockers that I have. And so you can see, this has been blocked, but you can see, it shrinks in. And then if I don't block it at all, it really looks shrinked in. But he likes his tall socks. The yarns that I used, I did talk about them last time, but I'll just recap quickly. This black was Yarnaceous fibers and La Brea tar pit in her fingering weight. And then the striping is Hue Loco and their Hocus Pocus 2 collection, which they actually just re-released. I don't know if it's still up for pre-sale orders right now or not. I don't know if it was pre-sales or if it was just sales, but they just released it this last week again. And this was the Black Flame candle colorway. And it's a nice he picked out this yarn for his Halloween socks. So now he gets to wear them. Okay. The next thing is I actually knit myself a little Halloween witchy. This is the, let's see, the Littlest Witch charm set, I believe is what it's called. It actually comes with the little black cat that you can knit with it, but I just like the witch. I made 2 of these last year for some friends, knitting friends that I sent a little knitting care package to. And I used the same, this was actually just a 20-gram mini out of an Halloween advent I got from Dragon Horde Yarns a couple years back. It was her Dark Crystal advent for Halloween, and this was the Ogra colorway, which, you know, she's kind of like the funky little witch in that movie. And then it's just random, like, you know, leftovers. There's probably some Knit Picks palette. This might be Brooklyn Tweed Puri. This is an old sock yarn from who knows when. But yeah, it's just a cute little witch, and I put the little plastic pellet thingies in the bottom. You can do beans or something, but I also have dogs, so I don't want them to sniff beans. So I have pellets in the bottom, and then instead of fiber fill, especially for little things like this, I just use my yarn ends, like when you wind yarn and you have those ends that you have to snip off, or when you weave in your ends and you have ends to snip off. I just save all of those, and then I use them for little stuffing for things like this. And I don't knit a lot of toys, but I do like, I like, Susan B. Anderson makes some really cool little stuffed toy things, and this one's a nice one. So this is the 3rd one total that I've made, but this is my first one. But it's kind of fun that me and my knitting friends all have the same colored witch. And I might make more witches out of some leftover Halloween yarns that I have. So I'll just put her, maybe, can you see her up there? Yeah. Put her up there so she can watch us. All right. And then my last finished object is a pair of socks that I cast on, last week sometime, the 25th of September, and I finished them in like 5 days. They were just fun to knit. This is Woolens and Nosh, her Targi sock. I love this base. It's like slightly rustic, but not scratchy. And it is very soft and squishy. It's a lot thicker than normal sock yarn. Even then, it feels thicker and plusher than like a 80-20 sock yarn to me. And they're just lovely. It's like a 90% Targi, 10% nylon. This I just did toe up with a 2x2 cuff, and I just used the same, I just used the yarn from it. And like, I think, did I say this was Nevermore, her colorway? And she said this should be coming back to the shop shortly. And then I did a cut-in afterthought heel. Again, I have a tutorial for that on my channel here, how I do my cut-in heels. I don't tell you numbers for any of it. I just tell you how I do it. So if you have numbers from a pattern, or you know how to do a heel, you will figure that one out. All right. So I think that's everything. Oh, and like I said, it's kind of fun to show these side by side when they're, so this one, since it doesn't have ribbing throughout the sock, it doesn't shrink down nearly as much after you take it off the blocker as that other one with the ribbing. Yeah, but they're fun. Now I get to wear those because these are my socks. Even though I already made myself a pair of Halloween socks this year, but I couldn't help it. I wanted more. Oh, I should tell you, I have a spooky mug. Drinking some tea today. This mug is from Desert Pine Studios, I think, Etsy, I believe. I will link the shop below. But this, I just love the ghosty face. It just cracked me up, and I was like, and it's a giant mug. I love to have the big 16-ounce mugs for tea, because then I can make a giant mug of tea and just sip off of it. Anyways. All right. So I don't have any patterns that have come out recently, so I won't be talking about any of my like a design showcase of new patterns. Like I said, I do have a few that I have that I'm working on. There's one that's in testing right now. It's a sock pattern, so that will be coming out hopefully in the beginning of November. I have another sock design that I just started the other. Did I just start that yesterday? I might have just started it yesterday. I'm almost done knitting the first sock, and I'm going to get that written up and flow in so I can get it to testers too, and hopefully that one will release sometime in November. And then I have a hat design that I'm working on that, again, you know, sometimes I just like go crazy with designs, and I have other designs that are just kind of sitting there that I don't work on. But the ones that I have a real, you know, it's usually the ones that are just sitting there are more like sweaters or something like that. They're just a lot more work, and that's the reason I don't finish them, is because I don't know if I'll ever actually finish off the pattern itself. So yeah. But yeah, hopefully next time I will be able to show you at least the one that's out for testing, because it should be releasing shortly after that. Let's see. So I went through all of my finished objects. Like I said, 4. It was a very big finished objects couple of weeks, but little things like socks usually don't take me that long. That little witch took me like an afternoon and then a morning to finish up. The pillow, a couple of days for me just to finish it up and sew it together. It was ridiculous that I put it off. All right, so whips. We'll start with the big one first, and this one, let's see, I started this one in the middle of September, so it's not that old. And it's that home cardigan that I talked about last time, where I'm using the unspun yarn by Wool Dreamers, and it's the Machalope, and I'm doing 2 strands held together. So the plate of yarn. And this is actually, I just broke into the second plate not that long ago. So this is the second one. And last time I was right here, and I just had a couple rows to go on the back. So that's the back of the cardigan. And then the fronts I got done, and I joined, because it's contiguous knitting. So you don't, later I'll come back and pick up the stitches, because this is a drop shoulder construction, and knit the arms. But when you join, you don't add any stitches. So you like join at one front, then knit the back that were held stitches, and then knit the other front. And since this is a cardigan, I'm knitting back and forth. All my shaping was done up with the fronts. Because it's got a little bit of a V that I'll pick up later. You know, I'll have a button band that I'll pick up later. That's a little bit of V shaping. This is the home cardigan by Kadri. And it's going to be lovely. Like I said last time, it is soft and, I mean, rustic, but not itchy, and very lightweight for being like a bulky weight yarn, even though they call it DK. It's not DK. Yeah, so I will move my little Princess Leia charm from Charmed and Dangerous. I'll move that, probably have it on the front of the cardigan. And then, I don't know if you see these. These are those little point protectors that everybody has nowadays, stitch stoppers. And this is Oogie Boogie because season. I love these. And then, I didn't tell you guys last time, but I don't use these needles as often. These are the Leica needles, which are the wooden ones. This is the original gray driftwood colorway. The cool thing about these needles is I don't really like the cords at all for these needles, and the Knitter's Pride, all of the Knitter's Pride line, actually have the same joins. And so I have an old, a Knitter's Pride cable on here. This is a 40-inch one, so it's red. And it's still that plasticky, not as good as like Chalgu needles, but it's a lot better than the ones that come with the set. And so that's just what I use. I have a lot of needle sets. I gave my daughter my old, it's either Knitter's Pride or Knit Pick set of wood needles that she likes. And like I said, sometimes I like the warmth of wood, and I like it on with certain fabrics, and it just felt nice with this cardigan. So I went for that. Usually I use Chalgu needles, but every once in a while I like the wood ones. Okay. Other whips. This one I showed you last time as well. This is the Muscle Burrow hat by Isolde Teague. I'm not going to go into too much detail because, again, you can't get this yarn anymore, and it's not like it's a base that she carries, but it's Farmer Starters fibers from an old club. I did not work very much on it at all. Like I said, this is just kind of my, when I don't know what else to do or I need something knitting. So it's that big giant tube that I'll eventually shove it inside itself. I am getting close to being done. I have, I haven't weighed this, so I don't know. I usually go till I have like 10 or 15 grams left, and then I'll do the crown. But there's another little Charmed and Dangerous Sugar Ghost charm for my progress keeper. And like I said, I didn't knit too much, maybe 1.5 inches from last time. It's not something I pick up often, but it is a nice, just when you don't know what else, or if you're knitting in the dark or something. These needles, I realized last time I didn't talk about needles. These are the Haya. This is actually a Sharps. I bought Hayas for my very first interchangeable needles I bought was Haya set. The reason I did that is because it was the only set back then. This is long time ago, like 10 plus years probably. It was the only set that I could find that had the 16-inch circumference with it. So when you add the needle tips with the smallest cable, it made it 16 inches, which was good for hats. And so to me, it was a good all-around set. I could use it for everything. They have the little like swivel cables, so the needle swivels around. It's a good set. I don't like to use it for anything but hats anymore, just because the tips are shorter to make it so it can work for hats. And I knit so much that it just, I like it a longer tip. So all my regular sets are like the 5-inch tips, and I think these are like 3.5 or something like that. But yeah, I will eventually finish this. I'm not too concerned. And this is a bag by Black Pearl Magic. If you want to hear a little bit more of how I got this bag, it's on the last podcast, but it's one of her plastic ones. And I think now she has a new type of plastic that is more environmentally friendly, that she's using for her bags than these ones were. These are the old vinyl ones, but I think she now has a new type of plastic that's a little bit more pliable too, maybe. I read something on her Instagram. You can go to her Instagram and find out, or go to her website. I know if you're going to, I will not be going to Rhinebeck or all those celebrations up in New York, but I think she's going to be vending at Cake Wool, and she'll have a lot of those bags there. So you can, if you're going, enjoy. I will not be there. It's just wrong time of year for me to be traveling until the kids are done with school. Okay. And then my final whip is a newer cast on. I love to have socks on the needles. Like I said, I do have a couple pairs that are that are designs. But I love just a vanilla sock if I can, or if it's a simple ribbed sock for my family, because that's what they prefer, like I say. This is going to be my pair of socks for me, probably, unless my daughter steals them. But again, she usually likes ribbing, so she might not. I showed this yarn last time because this was part of my acquisitions. It is Mama Jess Knits. And this was her colorway that she made for the Pigskin Party, and this is the Football Fall Frenzy colorway, and it's on her fingering sock, which is like a 75-25. And then the brown that I found, I thought it went really well. I have a few of these skeins from Cloudborn fibers. When Webs first took them on, they put them in like super sale and stuff, and this is just, I don't even know what color. It's a really dark brown. I've used it on some other stuff. I'll link it in my project page when I find out what the colorway is, because I've used it before, so it's in Ravelry on some of my other projects, but I don't have the ball band anymore. But I know it's that Cloudborn. And like I said last time, sometimes I'll buy like full skeins of a solid color or tonal and just use them for contrast heel, toes, and cuffs, or just like here, I decided just to do contrast heel and toe. And this is actually another one of my sock patterns. This one is the trusty top-down socks. So it is a top-down with a heel flap and gusset, and it has a garter stitch on the side, so it makes it easier to pick up those stitches and count your rows if you're having problems counting rows, because you just count garter bumps. And it makes, the way I pick up the stitches is through the garter bump, not in between the garter bumps. And it makes it, I'm turning my sock inside out just a second. It makes so that pickup line is nice and smooth. I don't know if you can see that at all, but it doesn't have like a ridge at all. If you did it between the garter bumps, it makes a little bit of a ridge. But if you go through like one of the purl bumps on the other side, it makes it nice and smooth, so you don't feel a weird transition. I've had socks where I've knit it the other way previously, like when I was first learning how to knit socks, the pattern I was following that had a garter edge like that had you do it between the bumps because it was easier to pick up there, but between the ridges and stuff, and it just made a little line on the inside of the sock. It never bothered my feet. I don't have super sensitive feet, but like if you do, or certain shoes, you might feel it more. But anyways, it's a nice tall sock to wear in the fall. And like I said, my daughter might steal these because they kind of have this bit of a pinky tone. You know, I put the brown on because I love brown, and hopefully that won't deter her. But probably won't. We'll see what happens. I'll let you know once I finish them. And like I said, that's one of my patterns, trusty top-down socks. I have a trusty DK as well, that's in DK weight with the same type of heel. All those are in my Ravelry, my Pay Hip, and on Lovecrafts. And that's, since it's a simpler pattern, it has, again, a lot of sizes, but it's a simpler pattern, just a straight, trusty sock pattern. It is a half price pattern. Most of my sock patterns are $5. This one's $2.50. And like I said, it's a great beginner sock pattern, especially if you want, I think a heel flap and gusset fits more people than like a short row heel or an afterthought heel typically does. Like my husband, it fits him the best. So usually if it's self-striping, I usually do an afterthought heel for him, but any other sock for him, I do a heel flap and gusset. Okay. That's all my whips right now. I did not work on my jelly roll at all in the last 2 weeks, even though I said I should, because I should force myself. I just didn't do it. I got onto designing some patterns, and so that took over more of my life. And again, finishing off some of these older, an older whip and starting things, I get things like, I guess I did finish this today. I made myself a new little crocheted granny square. I used leftovers from the socks that I showed last week. This was the Nightshade Society by Freckled Whimsy, her Wednesday club. I used some leftovers. It's over 5 grams, but not 6 grams that I used. Made a little crocheted granny square. I like to use these as coasters. So I just made this morning because I was like, I want more of a Halloween one. And so that's what I have my tea sitting on right now. So anyways, if you have leftover yarn, that's a great way to use it up. If you have leftover self-striping, I love it you know, because it just kind of, I mean, they look funky and I don't care. They're coasters. They're awesome. So that one, I think I did 6 rows, a 6-row granny square, and I used a 3mm hook, I believe. I don't crochet that much, and I don't crochet. I'm not a great crocheter. I can do simple crochet, and that's simple crochet. So, all right, next, I guess we'll show you some acquisitions. I got heavy on the acquisitions. Some things were things that I needed, or things that I had already ordered, or things that like popped into my field of vision. I was like, ooh, you know how it goes. But for my acquisitions, first I'm going to talk about the candles, because last time I talked about Veronica's candles last time. And I had said that I had ordered more. And since when you live in locally, she will hand deliver for a smaller fee than it would take to ship. And so like, I think it was a day or two after, maybe the day I uploaded this video last week or 2 weeks ago, I got my order in. And so the one that's burning down here is another one of her fall scents. It's amber and musk. And this one, you can't see. I'll show you on the next one. It has a wood wick. That's an option she has on her website. And like I said before, these are like a cement, and you can buy refills for them. And this is Veronica Candle Co. I have an affiliate link down below with a coupon code that you can save a little money. And yeah, I've been burning candles a lot more often now that it's gotten colder out. I love a candle. And then I told you before that I had a little bit left of an older version of this candle back when she used glass jars, but this is the white birch scent. And here, this is kind of what it looks like when it comes. So it doesn't have a lid, but it's covered with a little piece of paper. And this is one of the wood wick burning ones. She also has a cotton wick option. And this one's like just a lovely piney scent. And I love pine. All things pine make me happy. Yeah, and like I said, that I had ordered previously and got delivered like a day or two afterwards. All right. Next, another non-yarny purchase, but necessary for Montana weather, and then just knitters, you know. I am a hand balm salve type person, and I still have a little bit. This is Simply Josephine herbal salves. She has a lot of other things. She has like tinctures and soaps and lip balms, and I don't even know, a lot of different things. But I like the salves. And I had a jar of this, and these are 2-ounce jars. They last quite a long time. The one I bought of the Cottonwood Bud, or I think I got it actually in a giveaway, the Cottonwood Bud. It's great for like sore joints, muscles, all that type of stuff. I use this on my hands when I knit too long. I know I shouldn't knit so long. Hands and wrists. I also use it, I have a bad back. So I use this on my back. And right now, with painting this room and moving all the furniture and everything, my back is quite sore actually. So I've been using this one and this other one that I just got. So this is a replacement. And she has a deal on her website. This is Simply Josephine. I will link her below. She's a Montana maker. On her website, she has a deal with a few different things, but I know with the salve she does, where you buy 3 and you get a 4th one for free. And since I knew I wanted this one, bought that one because I'm almost out of my old one. And then Arnica is another like one for pain, good for arthritis, all that stuff. And this one has a little bit of menthol crystals in it too. And all these have like olive oil and beeswax. Some of them have essential oils along with them. Some of them do not. And she does have that listed if you have sensitivities and stuff. But Arnica is really good as well for pain, nerve and muscle pain. So I bought this one as well. I use it on my back more than the Cotton One Bud one. I mean, I use both those on my back, but this one I've been really using on my back. And then the other one I wanted to try was Sweet Dreams. And so this is one that has a lot of different, like it's wild chamomile, lavender, bedstraw, mugwort, hops, and sage. And then oil, like olive oil, avocado oil, and beeswax. And this one, it's supposed to help calm you, soothe you. You can use it as a regular salve for like burns and dry skin too, but you can put it on like your temples and on your neck and, under your nose even, before you go to bed. I haven't tried it yet because I kind of put it away when we were doing stuff in our room. And then I just got it out because we were moving stuff back after we got our bedroom painted. So yeah, that one I want to try. And then, so those are the 3 that I wanted to get. There's, 2 for health benefits. Sweet Dreams. Sometimes I have a hard time shutting down at night. I don't know if you guys do. So I wanted to try that. I prefer to use natural remedies. I'm a tea, I got a headache tea that I drink when I get headaches, and I will go to medications if I need to, but I really prefer to try the natural route first. Anyways, and again, great local maker. She has a lot of different things. You can check her out. The last one, since I bought 3 already, I got 1 for free. So I bought Magical Conifer because, again, I love everything pine scented. And this one's just a great all-around salve for burns, cuts, and dry hands. So I keep this one next to the couch downstairs for my dry hands. And this one even comes with a little like gem in it. I haven't taken it out because I wanted to show you, but I have used it around it. And it just, it has a very like, not overpowering like strong pine like candles will have and stuff, but it's a very natural pine because, again, it's lots of different pine trees infused with the oil and stuff. So yep, like that one a lot. So again, I'll link all this stuff down below in the description box. And then let's see, other things that I've bought. The rest is yarn. The rest is all sock yarn. So Needles at the Ready, Kevin and Ray, Kevin started dyeing a while back, and I have used his sock yarn before for actually the tall version of a sock pattern, my rock socks. I used his asteroid belt colorway, and this is Snowy River. It's one of his new ones, and it's dyed very similarly to that asteroid belt, it looks like to me, and I really liked how that turned out in that sock design. And my husband loves those socks because I made the tall version for him. That pattern comes with leg lengths for tall and short, and I made him the tall ones, and he loves them, and he just loves the cush factor of that design. And so even though this is a 75-25, that pattern, that texture pattern I used really cushes up the socks. So I might make him another pair out of this because, again, I just liked how it looked with that type of dyeing. And so yeah, and they have, the reason I discovered them is their podcast. I love them. They crack me up. They are very much, same age as me and same, a lot of things. Anyways, and then I also had to get It's Fall Y'all, and this one's actually in there in Kevin's Achilles DK, and it's 75-25, so it's superwash and nylon. It's great for socks. I am probably going to knit a pair of socks for my daughter. She loves DK weight socks, especially when she's just kind of hanging around the house. She'll throw them on when her feet get cold. So I'll probably knit her a pair of socks. I'm going to, sometimes I teach beginning sock classes at my local yarn shop, LYS, the Yarn Bar. And a lot of times, if it's beginner socks, I teach one of my DK weight sock patterns. Like I said, I have a couple there. I have the trusty DK sock design, which is like the top down with the heel flap and gusset. I have the shadow wrap heel 2 ways DK, and then I have cozy, what's it, warm and cozy, warm fuzzy, I don't remember, but it is DK or fingering held with, you can do fingering double or fingering with mohair. I designed it for fingering with mohair because they're super cozy and soft and warm. And that one has a German short row heel. So I like to do different heels and different types of socks. Anyways, so that will be a pair of socks for my daughter probably. And probably a pair for my husband. So they have purpose. Didn't just buy to buy, even though I do that a lot too. I bought some mustache yarns. This is a self-stripe dyer from Texas, I think. I think she's out of Texas. Anyway, she was just at DFW, which is a fiber festival down in Dallas, Fort Worth area, DFW. And after she got back from the show, she wanted to kind of empty out her stock a little bit so she could put some new things in. And so she put a little sale for like one day. And I was like, oh, and I love self-striping yarn. So I picked up a couple. And hers, she sells them in perfect must-match sets. So you get two 50-gram skeins. They're twisted together. And they should start at the exact same point. So you can make very easily matching socks if you like to make matching self-striping. And this one is called Candy Corn. And my husband loves candy corn. I can't stand candy corn. I don't like super sweet stuff, but my husband does. So these will probably be Halloween socks for him next year because I have his yarn picked out for this year that I haven't cast on yet, but I will. And I'll finish them by Halloween at least. But this will probably be next year, but it will go in the stash. Like I said, over there is where all the sock yarn goes. So it will go in there after this. And then I got Not All Who Wander Are Lost, which is a Lord of the Rings, J.R.R. Tolkien reference. And my son loves the movies, but he just finished reading The Hobbit this last summer, and he has started reading Lord of the Rings. It's a tougher book to read, so he doesn't read it very often, but every once in a while he does. And if I make him Tolkien themed socks, he might read the book more. Anyways, so yeah, I really like it. I think it's a very beautiful colorway. And I don't know if it says how many stripes. It doesn't. Okay. And then the last one is my Freckled Whimsy Wednesday Club. I got the yarn, I think at the end of September, actually. If you haven't received it yet, look away. This is your chance. But like I said, I got it at the end of September. She's many states away. So if you haven't received yours, please look away. But here is the October colorway for the Wednesday Club from Freckled Whimsy. And it is a very lovely, in my wheelhouse colorway. Fall vibes. Just Some Light Torture is the name. And I love it. I'll talk about this in watching, but I just started rewatching Wednesday because it just seemed appropriate for this time of year. Yeah, and these are all 8 stripe repeating. They're great. This crocheted square that I did, Granny Square, is from the Nightshade Society colorway from months and months ago. Leftovers that I had from because I think I showed those socks last episode of the socks from that colorway. Okay, that is all my acquisitions right now. Again, I'm trying not to buy, but it's hard when you see the things pop up or you see a sale or just and sock yarn is my addiction. I knit a lot of socks, but I also knit other things out of sock yarn, and you can hold it double and knit DK weight stuff or a DK weight hat or DK weight socks. You know, it's great. All right, we'll do some reading and watching. I am still listening to, on Audible, The Girl from Widow Hills, and further into it, it's gotten better. Right away, last time I talked about it, I wasn't into it yet. It's getting better. It's got some things going on. It's by Miranda. And again, I only listen to that generally when I'm cleaning, and I don't listen to it like for very long at a time. It's usually like half hour, 45 minutes stints. So it takes me a while, and I don't always listen to it when I clean either. Sometimes I'm just listening to music or something else. The other thing I actually finished, because I was so close to finishing, the Kingdom of Ash. It is the last book of the Throne of Glass series by Sarah J. Maas. It was almost 1,000 pages and it's done. And now I can give this to my daughter because she's reading the series. Like I said, she's probably 3 books into it right now. So yeah, it was very good. There was a lot of, this last one was very action heavy. But I had a feeling it would be. So, but it was a very good series. I really liked it. I think I gave it 4 stars on my Goodreads, but that's because to get 5 stars, it has to be absolutely fantastic, where I would read it again type thing. And I might read this again, but I'm good for a long, long time. All right. Well, I just got cut off from a national alert security warning because I'm recording on my phone. So we'll see how that went. Anyways, I started reading, once I finished that other series, I started reading The Fourth Wing. This was the next book. I've had this for a little while. I was not able to purchase it with the first run. I think this is probably the second run. But I got it sometime this summer and I started finally reading it. I'm only, how many chapters in? I'm going to start chapter 6. So I'm not very far yet, but again, I only read these at night and I am liking it a lot so far. It gets you kind of it gets you hooked pretty quickly. It's not a slow burn type of novel, I would say. So I will probably read the second one when it comes out or shortly thereafter. I think it comes out here this fall sometime soon. Anyways, so yeah, that's what I'm reading right now. It takes me a while to get through books. I think I talked about that last time just because I only generally read at night. I only listen to books when I'm cleaning and I don't always listen to books when I'm cleaning. So it takes me a while to get through them. Watching, like I said, I just recently started rewatching Wednesday. My son will plop down and sit with me when I'm watching those, and because he likes them as well. And then we watched Hocus Pocus for the first time last week. We might go, we have an older theater in town that plays old movies at times, and they're playing Hocus Pocus closer to Halloween. And so we might go to the theater and watch it as well. Just depends on what all we have going on that weekend. And then, let's see, what else have we been watching? Again, I'm still watching ERs, getting closer to being done. I remember now that I didn't really enjoy the later seasons as much as the beginning ones. But I'll trudge through them and get through it. But anyways, yeah, so watching that. My husband and I finally started watching the 3rd season of The Witcher on Netflix. I love that show. I don't know if I'm going to like it again when they start up for season 4 because they have recasted and Henry Cavill won't be playing, and I think he is such a fan of the source material for it, the video game and books, that I don't know how anybody else can do it as much justice. And his voice is even right. You know, if you play my husband has the video game, one of the video games, and yeah, he is just so good. So anyways, he plays it well. We'll see. I'll give it a chance at least. But so far we've only gotten 1 episode in because by the time we are together at night when we can watch, I get tired, and so we can only usually get in like hopefully a whole episode before I'm like, I need to go to bed. I go to bed later or earlier than he generally does. He likes to stay up later so he can have a little time to himself. And I go to bed and I read and I fall asleep because I get up early with the kids to get to school and all that stuff. And in general, I just need more sleep than he does. I'm one of those people that needs more sleep. All right, then I was going to show you a little bit, like I was referring to this earlier. This is my little notebook that I have written down every month. I start off and I write the year, projects, when the project was started, if I have it noted. And my oldest ones in here are 2020 for the year. There might be at least one that's 2019, I would assume. But those are generally blankets that are older. Right now I've been doing it in color. So anything that's older is all the same color. And then anything that I start this month is down here. And again, I have designs on there and other things. Some things I get out of the love to knit them. I might come back to the love. Other times I just end up eventually frogging. There are, like I said, a lot of blankets. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 blankets on here. And they're all, well, 3 of them are sock yarn blankets. One is knit or a giant granny stripe blanket that's knit with or crocheted with Caron cakes. And I don't crochet that often or well, therefore I have to pay more attention when I'm crocheting. So it's not something I can do when I'm watching like regular TV. I can watch knitting podcasts and crochet, but I can't like watch something I need to pay attention to. Like knitting, I can listen, and then when they're going to show me something cool, I can look up and look at the cool things. And then anyways, yes, and then on my next page over, I will put my finished objects for the month. And so far all I've finished is that crocheted little granny square that I did today because I wanted a new coaster. And then I also have a yarn in and out, and I do it by grams because anything that I have left over goes in the leftover like stash. And when I use it again, it comes out, so I go by grams coming in, grams going out. I don't go by yards because that's even more complicated. I just do it straight grams. So if it's like fingering weight, well, I'm going to use a lot less than if I'm using like worsted weight or bulky for a sweater. Fingering weight sweater is generally under 300 grams for me, whereas a bulky or worsted weight is over 500 grams generally to make myself a sweater. So there is that difference, but generally it's how I do it. Some months it's good. Last month it was not. I had a lot more come in than went out. The month before that I had a lot more go out than came in. So I'm just trying to keep my stash. I would like it to go down, but I'm also just trying to keep it from going up too high. I also sometimes will like on Ravelry, I have a few things for sale there, and I've just sold a sweater quantity of yarn on Ravelry not that long ago. Some things I buy and they go directly into my daughter's stash because it's something that I know she'll love. So it's not everything isn't for me. And yeah, I usually don't get, I don't reach out to dyers for yarn support for designs. I shop my stash generally first. Like if I have an idea for something, I will go for it. And sometimes when I'm buying products, I'm thinking, I want to design with this. I don't know what I want to design, but I know I want to design with it. Like that set I showed you last week that I was like, it might be a design, it might not. All the things I got this time, I just wanted. Nothing's going to be a new design that I know of. So it could be, but it's going in the stash, or I have an idea of what I want to make with it, but it's not a new design idea. But yeah, that's just kind of how I keep track. And then when I'm ready, once I finish an object, that's when I usually put it in Ravelry. I'm trying to be better since I'm doing this podcast of putting my whips, at least that I show you on the podcast, on Ravelry right away. So you can find the designer if it's not me, or find the pattern, or find the yarns, or whatever. You can find all that information there if you don't remember. And I will link all the relevant information below. But yeah, so this has just been my second version of this book. The first one I designed out of it, as well as, it's just a little notebook that I bought from Target. I designed out of it as well as writing all that stuff down. And so that one I still have because it has some design ideas in it. Now I have straight up design notebooks that don't have any of this other information in it. I'll write down, you know, the relative information of when I started the design, that it was a design. When I finish it, I write down the yarns I used and how much I used of it. But that's just so I have an easier access to when I actually put it into Ravelry. But I also have that information down in my designer notebook because that's where I want to write my patterns from. I think that's everything. I got a little rambly at the end. If you guys have any questions for me, feel free to ask them down below. I hope you enjoyed this podcast. I am trying to do these, like I said, every 2 weeks. We'll see. I'm going to watch this video back and see if I can splice it together after that alert came through on my phone. So if there's a little bit of a glitchy in there, that's why. All right. Well, you guys have a good rest of your day and rest of your week, and hopefully I'll be back again in 2 weeks. I will try again to be back in 2 weeks. All right. Bye, guys.